ended up in Philadelphia. I'm not from there. I'm from South Carolina. I went to an SNA conference my freshman year in Charlotte, and I heard this lady speak on human milk and breastfeeding in regards to a NICU. And I loved what she did, and I was really inspired. I was like, I've always loved babies. I've thought I wanted to work in a NICU since I learned I wanted to be a nurse in 6th grade. So I went back my sophomore year to the same conference in Nashville, and I heard her speak again, and I said, I'm going to be bold and I'm going to go up to her. So I went up to her and I just introduced myself. I said, I love the work you do. I would love to be like you one day. Is there any way that I can be preparing myself to get into the field that you're in? And she said, let's keep in touch. Here's my email. So I emailed her. She told me about the hospital she works at and the research she does and things like that. We kept in touch. She encouraged me to apply for this externship position, and here I ended up. So CHOP, which is Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, is yearly ranked number 1 or 2 as the top children's hospital in the nation, along with Boston's Children's Hospital. The application for their externship program opens November 15th and closes November 30th. So it's a 2-week window. It's really quick. They have 700 applicants every year for 150 interview spots and 50 positions. So it's a really competitive program, and that's why they keep it really short, because otherwise they'd have even more applications. So I applied for that. I heard back in, I think, January that I had an interview in February. So I flew up there and interviewed in February in the NICU. I heard back, I think, right before spring break that I had gotten the position and got to live there all summer. The program was 10 weeks. I ended up living at the lady's house that I met at that conference. She was really, really kind and offered her home to me for the summer. So it was really sweet. I had a lot of friends, though, that sublet apartments from people that went to school nearby, so that wasn't an issue for most people. It was a paid position. They really liked December graduates, so all of you that are junior 2s, they really liked having people that were not just normal students graduating the following May. I worked with a preceptor. This is my preceptor, Bree, in the NICU. She's an incredibly seasoned nurse. She's worked at the CHOP NICU for 8 years. She wasn't a nurse when she came out of college, so that was really cool to have a different view of nursing. She just was very patient and kind with me. I knew nothing about the NICU coming in. I thought I wanted to do NICU, like Rachel was saying. It was cool because I thought that might be something I liked, but I listened and report to them saying, this baby has an ET tube taped 9 at the gum, and I said, I don't know what that means, but I guess I'll figure that out. So I learned a ton. There are 50 positions on a ton of different units, and I have some of those listed later. And then we had monthly seminars and the opportunity to go to different units throughout the summer as well. Can you go to the next slide? So I'm doing my departmental honors project with the lady that I met at that conference on human milk and breastfeeding, and for part of my project, I created this website called almostanurse.com. It's for you guys, it's for nursing students, and it has just my experience in nursing school, some ways that you can succeed as a student nurse, and most importantly for this session, there's an externship tab, and it has, she can pull it up. There's a list of some externships. A lot of them I listed in the state. It has the dates for the application, the link to the website, some tips on when their interviews will be and things like that. So I just pulled all the ones that I could find that were in state. The one I did, Atlanta's, and then one in Tennessee that my friend had done. So that's just a resource for you guys. I'll continue to add to it. If you have any that you did, you want me to add to it, I'd love to. I just want this to be useful for you guys because I think that externships really sealed the deal for me in nursing. It made me realize how much I want to be a nurse, even more so than I thought when I came into school. It really makes you comfortable with your skills going into a position as a nurse. The transition from nursing school to being a real nurse can be hard because you only can learn so much in school. You don't always see the situations you're going to encounter, especially in something like a NICU that I had a one-day shadow opportunity in school. So that was really encouraging. Do you want to? Yeah, if you want to, you can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't share it up there. Hold on.
Oh, it's okay. There's a lot of other tabs. I talked about my NICU experience. There's a day in the life of me in the NICU. I'm just talking about like the different things I did on a 7 to 7 shift. I just wanted you guys to see what it would be like and how it has benefited me thinking about applying for a job in the NICU now and how that's influenced my choice. It's okay if it won't come up. You can just go to the next slide if you want. Sorry, it's Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, well, we'll email out the link to the website so you guys can pull that up. The other slide that I had just had a list of the different units. I think it's really cool that we all spoke because we all worked in different units of the hospital. Some of us were in adult units, some of us are in pediatric units. Rachel is in oncology, which is nothing like the NICU. So a children's hospital like Children's Hospital of Philadelphia or Atlanta, big hospitals like that, have a ton of peds floors. I mean, they have GI and endocrine, they have ICUs, they have cardiac ICUs, NICUs, PICUs, step-down units, outpatient, a ton of places. So you can apply to work on any of those units. So I just think that's interesting because I don't want you guys to feel limited that you have to have an externship on a med-surg unit or just in an ICU. There's so many specialty units like Rachel was saying too. They have a neuro ICU and a cardiac ICU. Yeah, there's a list of the different ones. Those are based on what I knew from CHOP, but I know that most children's hospitals have that too. There's some things that I would do on a schedule in the NICU, and then other things I got to help with that I knew nothing about going in: repositioning breathing tubes, deep suction, chest PT, pre-op and post-op checklists. My babies were going to the OR all the time. PICC line placement at CHOP, the nurses, especially trained nurses, get to place PICC lines at the bedside, so that was really cool. I got to help with that. Taking babies to barium enemas and upper GI, trach care. I had a baby this summer that she had a trach, and she's had a trach for almost her whole life since she was, 6 months old, and she decannulated when I was holding her, and that was a really scary experience for me, which means her trach comes out, she can't breathe. So we called rapid response, and that was a really scary moment for me, but I got to see what the nurses do in a situation like that, because we're gonna face those situations when we get out of school, and we're not gonna know what to do, because as students, we might not have seen that. So I just think this experience was really beneficial for me. Something that I'm really passionate about is breastfeeding. If you don't know me, I really love that. They have a human milk management center and just opened their milk bank at CHOP. So they are really into breastfeeding, encouraging breastfeeding. They have breastfeeding resource nurses that are able to go to the patient bedside and talk to a mom and encourage her in her attempts to breastfeed. They have a huge milk management center where they can fortify milk, they can make it lower calorie, things like that. So it was really cool to see that too. So if you have questions, you should have my email from SNA Things, but it's Abby R, ABBEYR. Please reach out. We're all happy to read your resumes as you start to apply for these. Please send them our way. We are happy to help. Please reach out with questions. I think we are all here as resources for you. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
If you get an interview, want to know what questions they ask.
Yeah, talk about interviews, things like that.